To all of you. Yeah. Thank you, Rajeshwari ji. Friends, I'm very happy to be here, but it was a puzzle to me as to why IIT is doing it. And incidentally, this is the only IIT I have not visited, so it's also a good opportunity for me to come to IIT Delhi. So I would like to, then I realize it's a very interesting combination of DST, IIT Delhi, RRA, Vasan, and the Shiv Nadar Institute. So I'm thankful to all of you for having invited me. But I don't think, what I'm going to say will be very pleasant. So you should be prepared for that. I heard a lot about science. And I'm also a student of science long ago. But I think the basic message which is not coming through is that we are pursuing a wrong science. If we don't come out of that, then I think our solutions will be very ad hoc, gather more evidence. What more evidence do you need? Farmers are committing suicide because of wrong science. So, if you don't attack this science, what kind of science has led this country where farmers are miserable? Is this science? Why are we not taking lessons from what are the international recommendations? You're all aware, way back in 2010, the United Nations Rapporteur on the right to food, they analyzed the problem. By 2050, the world population is going to be, there's a lot of confusion on that, but somewhere people have settled to 9.7 billion. We are now 7.5 or 7.6 today. So we'll be adding another 2 billion. Arable area is going to decrease. Climate change is going to be further exacerbated. And I think the basic topic of this 3 days workshop is very clear that soils are not healthy. So how are you going to produce the food? In fact, all those who are asking for more evidence, my only question to them is, if you continue like this, what will happen after 30 years? I think as on date, if I'm not mistaken, out of every 100 units of urea, I think about 30 goes into the plant, 30, 40, 50, 30. So I thought it was 50. So what was it some 50 years ago? And what is it going to be after 50 years? The need to change is so urgent. We can't be gathering more evidence. There is enough evidence. The current practice is killing farmers. Let us be very clear about it. It's, in my view, it is the same as people believing that the earth was flat and then suddenly finding out that earth is round. And it took 300 years, 400 years. So are we going to wait for that time? Of course, I must clarify, in fact, I think Neeraj has left. He said that, people after retirement, are more critical of the government. But let me say that I used to hold the same views even when I was in government. And not only held views, acted on it. So it's not, so what I'm saying may sound heretical. I also held positions within government. I was Vice Chancellor of the Agriculture University, brief period, additional charge of 7 months. And I told the same thing to my professors. And I told them that you give me a model which enables food security by 2050, which is more nature friendly, reduces the cost to the farmers, protects biodiversity, protects farmers from climate change adversities. I said, I am prepared to follow you. If you tell me that there's a better science, obviously I am not a fool. So till I retired, they didn't come up with a better model. I also told them, if you don't come with a better model, you better follow what I'm telling you. But in any case, I also told them very clearly that all of them are irrelevant to my way of thinking. I'll go directly to the farmers. I said, I don't need all of you. For your own relevance, you will have to change your way of working. So, I think the discussion on soils, in my opinion, what has happened to soils is a consequence of a wrong science. It is, it's not as if, okay, let us improve the soils a little bit so that urea absorption can improve. That is foolish. I don't think we should follow that. The other very unfortunate thing in all our universities, particularly agriculture university, in the entire university, there was only one soil microbiologist. And I don't know how much of biology is taught in the BSc Agriculture. I spoke to a number of students and people who passed out of agriculture. They said this was never highlighted in our course. So what I have not been able to understand is, we all agree that plants have life, so obviously biology has to come somewhere. But entire agriculture science has become chemistry. Now this is a very dangerous dichotomy. So the choice, options between us is, are we going to do farming which is in harmony with nature? Because nature has some laws. So are we going to follow those laws, or are we going to do farming which is against nature? I can see that we have tried very hard to farm against nature, but nature doesn't depend on human beings. Yeah. We just came 2.5 million years ago. So Earth has been in existence for more than 4 billion years ago. So they'll just shake us off and Earth will go on. Nothing will happen to the Earth. So continue to farm against nature and reap the consequences. And then spend seminars and all to do symptomatic treatment. So I think we should not do that. This is very dangerous. We are doing a disservice to science. And there's been so much talk about science. So I'll also talk through in scientific terms only. As I said, that the current view is like a zero-sum view. You plant something, So many, kilograms or grams of nitrogen is taken out, so I must put back nitrogen. So much of phosphorus is taken out, I must put back phosphorus. So much of potassium is taken out, I must put back potassium. So it's a zero sum. So plants have exhausted the minerals. So we keep putting back. Now, even if you go on that framework, I don't think any plant has only 3 elements. Of course, apart from carbon and hydrogen and oxygen. So it can't be only 6. And in the periodic table, you have more than 100 elements. And some more have been discovered recently. So who can say that a plant doesn't need arsenic? Plant doesn't need gold? So are you going to supply that? So the zero-sum view of nutrients has led to some very logical recommendations. In fact, we are a victim of that. A great scientific organization went and convinced our government that there is hidden hunger. That means not only macros, you need to also put in micronutrients. So I can understand if you are prescribing all 80 elements. No, 3. Boron, zinc, sulfur. Then I went to Madhya Pradesh. They were doing some experiment on also adding molybdenum. Then iron ने क्या गलती किया भाई, वो भी डालो. So this is a consequence of a zero-sum view. Nature doesn't function like that. And we have completely not taken into account that there is life below the soil. And it is there for a purpose. And in spite of our efforts to extinguish that, still it survives. So that's what I said. When you go against nature, you reap these consequences. So, and plants are also clever. Yes, plants are clever. Because at least if I feel hungry, I can go and grab food somewhere. If I feel thirsty, I can go grab water. But plant is fixed. So it has to attract food to itself. And that's what we are depriving through the current scientific model. So what does the plant do? It oozes out sugars, almost 40% of what it's manufacturing. And that is attracting the microbes, the bacteria, the fungi, the nematodes, the arthropods, the protozoa, and so on till you reach the earthworms, till you reach the birds, till you reach the insects. So, isn't that science? Why is it that this is not taught? Why is it that we are not taking this view into account? This is what is missing. So my first suggestion would be, you forget about Ministry of Agriculture, state governments, you first attack the science. This is ridiculous. Because ultimately, the Department of Agriculture in any state is bound by the recommendations of the ICR and by the university system. I can assure you, nobody in the government would have taken a view which goes against the view of the university. I took it. I mean, that's a separate thing. Because I told them that what you are doing is foolish. And you have to convince me that I am wrong. So I entered into a dialogue with them. I remember 8 years ago, I had invited the then Punjab Secretary for Agriculture, he was my batchmate, to come and take a look at what we were doing in Andhra Pradesh, the NPM. He came, he saw, and then I said, boss, why don't you do it in Punjab? Arey nahi yaar, that Ludhiana wale nahi karne denge, PAU. I said, to hell with them. He said, nahi, I can't do it. So that is the issue. The Ministry of Agriculture, again, if there has to be a change in any policy, as a matter of abundant caution, will be guided by what the ICR system says. So the issue is that of the battle that has to be fought on science. It's not. Then from there stems policy. So see, I took a risk because I happen to know that definitely I knew only one thing, that what they are doing is wrong. So that much I was clear. Now, whether I am right or not I had confidence that what I am doing is right. So my only this thing was what they are saying is wrong. So therefore, I don't have to pay heed to them. In fact, I retired a few months ago. Some of the professors are now ringing me up and saying, sir, in that 7 months you sort of inspired us. We didn't agree with you then, but we are also thinking about what you said. So I only know that, and this also comes after years of experience. Vasan is here, Ravindra, Dr. Sanghi, whom we lost, Dr. Rupela, and I'm so happy to see Dr. JV, my guru. They've all taught us that what is happening is wrong. So on that basis, we went in a different path. And unfortunately, there's a vacuum as far as the farmer is concerned. Because science, the university system is not reaching the farmer. Our scientists are busy only in breeding. There's no other work in universities. The agriculture department is busy in inputs. This subsidy, that subsidy. So nobody has time for the farmers. And the farmers are getting their information from the media, from the fertilizer dealer, the input dealer. I used to tell my VC, I used to tell my university people that is the university, not you. Yes. They are the ones who are influencing farmers' behavior. So he is giving credit, he is giving inputs, and he is giving advice. So it's a very, so there is a lot of rot in the, so not only the science is wrong, and in fact that is what has protected the farmers, I think, because this wrong science has not reached the farmers fully. So, but there is other dangerous thing, because now what the university says, look, that's not my recommendation. They are putting some 20 units. I only said put 3 units. So I tell the farmers that, look, you have milk and poison. So whether you put 20 drops of poison or put 3 drops of poison, the milk will become poison. So but university has the excuse now. I only said put 3 bags, they are putting 20 bags. It's not my fault. Okay, happy. So they are saying university recommendations not followed by farmers. So we are not to blame. It is that alternate university, like alt facts, you have the alt university which is the university to blame. So this zero-sum view has to go. I think there are enough studies which show that there are enough nutrients for thousands of years. There's one study where almost 3 million samples were taken from all over the world, and the median range of more than 90 elements is given in that, and it says that anywhere in the world there is about 2000 kgs per hectare of nitrogen. So if there is already 2000 kgs per hectare of nitrogen, what is the great recommendation? Put 66 kilos or 84 kilos. There's 1200 kilos already. There's 800 kilos of phosphorus. I don't have all the other elements, but these are the two. There, yeah, you need arsenic also, you need silver, you need gold, you need cadmium, you need so many things. So, there is what is missing is that living system within the soil which develops this synergistic relationship, converts the nutrients already present into bioavailable forms. So this is the, what is missing, and I haven't seen enough Indian studies because, of course, luckily in India there have been some outliers. Dabolkar Saab's Shisha, Deepak Sajde Saab is here, Bhaskar Saveji, Namalwar, Subhash Palekar. In fact, by reading Subhash Palekar's books in 2006, all his 4 volumes I read in one day, then it answered a problem. It answered a lot of things for me. And where he says you don't need chemical fertilizers. It was very clear to me after that. And now I am seeing some validation, some work happening in West. Unfortunately, I am not seeing that in India. I am sure this is not very difficult for anybody here to do that. So I am saying, you forget all this policy and all that. Get the science right. Then people will follow. If you don't get the science right, it will happen like this only, take 10 blocks, 20 blocks. Why we should do it all over the country? It's foolish to do what we are doing now. If something is wrong for the farmers, it should not be, we have to, and our great university, whenever somebody came with saying that my yields have gone up, my costs have gone down, I have not applied any fertilizers, they'll say, where is the evidence? So, of course, I have now given a task to the university to now gather evidence. I said, it's your job, not the job of the farmer to gather evidence. I said, your job, I am paying them also to gather this evidence. We are doing on a very large scale. My vision is that we have about 5.5 to 6 million farmers in Andhra Pradesh. Over the next 10 years, all of them will get converted to natural farming. My first pilot is for about 500,000 farmers over the next 5 years. I am very thankful to Rani, our Joint Secretary. With her help, we've been able to tweak the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana to fit our requirements. I must say she was kind to, I think she must have also thought this Andhra Pradesh people are mad, let them do whatever they want. So as long as they don't come to the ministry for more money, so she helped us a lot. The Rashtriya Krishi, she also helped us in the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. So we will be doing this on a statewide scale. I'm very happy. I've got very good support from my Chief Minister. In fact, I was happily retiring in September. Then he told me, no, you should not retire. My vision is that every farmer in our state should practice natural farming. And I told him, then I should do it in my own way. He said, yes, you do it in your own way. So, I think what I'm seeing on the ground level, farmers are sick of these idiotic recommendations of the real university and the fake university. Both are killing them. They are sick. And they are desperate for a change. We are failing them. And in order to do it on scale, this knowledge, because you see the most difficult thing here is the mindset change of the farmers, the department and the university and the policymakers. So that is the most difficult part. Otherwise, it's very commonsensical. The practices are very commonsensical. Our methodology, we pursue the zero budget natural farming methodology, which Subhash Palekar has uh, taken to the whole country. In fact, I was happy recently, I think in Madhya Pradesh, the state government actually invited him and they held a 3 days workshop. So what was missing in the what the department does and the university does was the extension element. So we have resolved that problem by saying a best practicing farmer is the best trainer, is also the best scientist. So my job was only to pick up these diamonds, these jewels, potential Deepak Sachde's, potential Palekars, and I have put them, I have embedded them in about 700 villages now. We will increase this number to another 800. So 1500 villages in our state is the pilot program for the next 5 years. And in this 5 years, I will generate about 30,000 to 40,000 best practicing farmer trainers. And then doing for the whole state is not difficult at all. It's very easy. We are also helped in this process by an organization called Digital Green Foundation. So these master farmers' extension effort gets amplified through these video disseminations. And in order that this become self-sustaining, self-reliant, we've also taken up the building up of farmers' institutions, where they discuss these matters, which also becomes in a later date, a farmers' producer organization, a farmers' own bank. So that is the third element. And the fourth element is I spent a lot of time last 18 months in brainwashing my department. So many of them are, have, they have become neutral. They have not changed. There are some 5-10% who have become very pro natural farming. And equally, there are some 20-30% who are, when will this man go and we can get back to our normal way of doing things. But what I found was that they are getting a lot of appreciation from the farmers. So my strength is the farmers. In this first year itself, we've been able to get about 50,000 farmers to practice this natural farming, of which 10,000 of them have done it right from the seed stage. Others, because the chemical pesticides failed them, they couldn't control the pest attack, so almost 22,000 came in the middle of the season. And the balance are doing it in the Rabi crop. So I found some villages where, a very slow beginning, but they saw the results and it went up exponentially in the Rabi crop. So I have assumed that it will take me 3 years in one village to get more than 80% of the farmers to practice this in some portion of their area. And over a period of another 2 years, they extend it to their whole day. So, role of government is very important in scaling up, but you have to have a right model. So I think I have taken more time than my opening remarks indicate. I am sorry for that. But all I would like to say in the end is that the basic defect is in the science. We need a science which saves lives. We need a science which follows principles, laws of nature. So that's what I'm searching for that. I think I would like to conclude by saying that everybody told me that the yields will go down. If you follow this, the yields will go down. And for us in Andhra Pradesh, paddy is one of the most important crops. So we did, the agriculture department did the crop cutting experiments, the what we call the natural farming plots and control plots. We got 10% higher yield in the very first season, and the cost of cultivation has on an average come down by 5,000 rupees per acre. Even more amazing is in the case of rain-fed groundnut in Anantapur. We had a very bad drought this year because for almost 35-37 days there was no rainfall. And to our surprise, when we did the crop cuts in rain-fed groundnut, the zero budget natural farming groundnut plots gave double the yields. At least those who did the ZBNF could recover their investment. We got 376 kgs per acre, and this is 186 kg is the control. We also had other experience in Guntur district. After a long dry spell, we had about 200 mm rainfall in 12 hours. And only the fields which followed the ZBNF, they sustained. So I find in the natural farming, not only we are in harmony with nature, we're able to reduce the cost of cultivation very significantly. We are able to make the soils fertile. At least we are not eroding the soil fertility. Soil fertility is coming back. Yields are going up. Resilience to drought has increased. Protection against heavy rains has increased. The biodiversity has increased. I met farmers who told me the first time they are seeing so many different kinds of beneficial insects in their plots. And one young farmer told me that he goes to his field at 4 a.m. just to watch the birds, because he's put this bird perches. So he's come there just to see the birds singing and doing their work and, doing his work. And many are excited to see earthworms. So the promotion of biodiversity is very important. I think the overall government mandate, or the Honorable Prime Minister has said, doubling the incomes is not possible if you don't get the science right, because farmers' riskiness has increased tremendously. So thank you very much.